Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Kottabos Space Program, where today, rather than looking at a mod as we usually do, we are actually going to be having a gander at the new version 1.0 release of the game, and I am so excited for this. The game has finally left beta after a very long time, and is now officially been released. We're in version 1.0, and it has added a whole ton of new things into the game that we're gonna go over. Honestly, just a fraction of it, because it would take me several hours probably to go over everything that's been added, so we're just going to be hitting the main points. For instance, the new female Kerbals. We have Val here gracefully floating through orbit, and I like the addition of female Kerbals. It always seemed odd to me that it just seemed to be an entire race of little green men. Now we have little green women to go along with it, and Val is awesome. She's basically just a female Jebediah, and that's pretty cool. So, if we jump on into my released save file here, we can have a look at, again, just some of the major points for the new release. So we'll just jump right on into the VAB right away, and take a look at the command pods. Now, a lot of things have changed parts-wise, but most of the changes are of a graphical nature. You've had a lot of parts, especially in Aerodynamics, have just had a update in how they look so that it fits in with the somewhat newer look to the game. They've really updated the graphic feel of a lot of things. But for command pods, we have a major update to the Mark I inline cockpit. Now, we've had the inline cockpit for a very long time, and yeah, we've got a new version here, which I personally don't really like the look of the exterior of this, but the big news is it finally has an interior. Dear freaking Jeb, we have not had an inline cockpit interior for a very long time. We finally do. It looks gorgeous, though I have to say not nearly as gorgeous as the new interior to the shuttle. Oh my god, this thing is beautiful. On the inside and the out, it is simply glorious. Now, as for command pods, that's pretty much it. A few minor graphical tweaks here and there, at least when in regards to major things. So let's just grab the Mark 1-2 here and move down to fuel tanks, which in here, again, mostly graphical things, but there are three major changes. Now, one of them is a graphical change, but I kind of think of it as a major change. We have the Xenon container here has seen a major graphic overhaul, and I gotta say, I like the new look of it. I really do like the new look. We previously just sort of had, like, this style, and so I like having the newer, larger, smoother tank. Very cool indeed. But the two biggest parts for this fuel tank section is not even technically fuel. We have the small holding tank here, and on the previous page, the large holding tank. Oops, zoom out. There we go. And these are for ore. Yes, we have a glorious new resource in the game, ore, which you can mine on, you know, here on this planet, as well as many of the others. I believe even asteroids, though don't quote me on that, because I haven't tried it yet, mainly because I suck at landing on asteroids. And yes, the ore is cool. You can mine it and then use another part that we'll look at here in a little bit in utility that can sort of refine that ore into liquid fuel, oxidizer, and even monopropellant. So it's, you know, similar to mods we've had in the past of Kethane, Carbonite, etc., where you've got a resource you can turn into other resources. But now we have it stock, and I really like it. I really do. And I cannot wait to see what modders play around with it. And yes, as for these holding tanks, the small one is a 300 size, the large one is a 1500 size, and, well, they just hold a crapload of ore. Very good indeed. Moving on to engines, not a whole lot of changes here except for our new Flea solid rocket booster here. This baby is pretty cool. It's basically just a short and stubby little solid rocket booster. That's basically it. It is shorter than the good old Hammer solid rocket booster that we have here, about roughly half the size, and yeah, it's just another addition to the gloriousness that is solid rocket boosters to the game. Very cool little engine, and I love the name Flea. It's just it's appropriate. Very, very appropriate indeed. Now, as for command and control, the only thing that really changed here was a major graphical update to the nose cone avionics thing. That's definitely something with a lot of plane parts. They've all seen a major graphical upgrade to the new feel for the planes. But yeah, that's the big one for there. Zoom back out. Structural, we have... Oh god, I'm trying to remember if we have anything in here. Oh boy, oh god. I don't think anything major. Oh, I'm probably just completely bullshitting you right now, and there's something in here I'm completely missing. We'll come back to that just in case. Now, as for aerodynamics, this is a big area that has seen a lot of additions, one of which I really love, are these air brakes. Holy crap, they are gorgeous, and they are fun. They are very, very fun. We'll play around with them a little bit later, but yeah, they're just, you know, air brakes. You deploy them, they slow you down. And boy, do they ever slow you down. They are quite impressive as to how much they slow you, and you can also activate pitch and yaw control on them as well, so you have a bit of control in your descent. Very cool, I like them. Now, you can of course use them on planes as, you know, typical aero brakes on planes that you would see, but I like using them for drop pods. I actually made one in here earlier. Oh, nope, cancel, didn't mean to, I meant to hit open. Oh no, that does still pop up that load save thing. But yes, I built this drop pod earlier that we'll play around with. It is very cool. Oh, which while we're here, cool new feature for when you are selecting your ships in here. I love that they now show a little image of it on the side. That is just gorgeous, because, you know, sometimes it's a pain in the butt to try and find something by its name. Now you've also got a picture to go along with it. Very cool indeed. As for other new parts in aerodynamics, getting back to the parts here, new look for the canard. We have a variety of nose cones, because a major update to the game is a whole new aerodynamic system, so nose cones are more important now. Flying is a lot different. I actually like the flying model a lot better now. I'm a better pilot. I'm still not a good pilot, but I'm a better pilot in this new version because the aerodynamics are more realistic. It's very cool. So yeah, we just have a selection of new nose cones and, oh, various protective things. Oh yes, this, I almost forgot about this. This is what I was thinking we may have in the structural area that I was thinking, oh god, is it in here or is it in aerodynamics? But no, it is in fact here in aerodynamics. We have a new system for building your own custom fairings in the game. And that is wonderful because people have wanted fairings for a while, and there's even a whole load of mods in the game for it. But now we have these protective shells, which the reason I didn't think about it in here earlier is because they just look like nose cones in here. But no, when you click them, you get just this bottom piece, which you attach where you need it to be. You left click, and then you start actually creating your fairing in a procedural-ish manner. You first start out with the bottom section of it, moving your mouse around to get the right shape you want. You then left-click again. You then create sort of the middle section where the bulk of your stuff will go. You left-click. And then sort of make your final section, the cone upwards. And you have your own procedurally created fairing. And for when you need to put parts inside, it, you know, becomes transparent and the parts move away, so you can easily place, say, this nose cone on the inside here. There we go. And now it's hidden inside the fairing, or we can open it up to actually get to the parts on the inside. It is very cool. I love this. I was not a huge fan of procedural fairings. I'm still not entirely sure why, but it always kind of bothered me how it worked. This system is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. And we have it all the way up to the 3.75 meter size. And it is, it's just beautiful. Look at this thing. It's just this giant fat fairing. And I love how it breaks apart so that you can get to the inside of it. It is very cool indeed. As for other parts, a lot of graphical changes. We have a new circular intake. Very cool. I like it. We then also have an engine nacelle, which is very cool. So, you know, a radial attachment sort of thing. hook this on, and the nacelle is quite nice, has its own good air intake, holds some liquid fuel, very cool indeed. We also have an engine pre-cooler, which is similar to the nacelle. We'll just pop that on there. Very cool. I love the design of it. We will pop that away. Then some more sort of just graphical changes, wing parts, and then another major bit, heat shields. The whole heat mechanic in the game has changed, and now we have proper heat shields that you can pop onto things, and they are just gorgeous. And can we read what that says? No, generic serial numbers from the looks of it. But yes, I really love the looks of these heat shields, and they come in the standard sizes, you know, the 1.25, the 2.5, and 3.75, and they are very cool. I love their addition, and the whole new heat mechanic in general, very cool. Another new part, a ram air intake, very nice. I always like a good ram air intake. They just look so cool. The nice little swept-back design, very nice. Then let's see, another small nose cone. I think that is it on the aerodynamics, besides just the new look to things. So, into utility we go with many, many new pieces. So first, let's talk more about the ore system. Like I said earlier, we have these different tanks that you can pop onto things and store ore. Now, how do you get said ore? Well, you mine it with one of these drill-o-matic mining extractors. They are gorgeous. We can actually extend it here in the VAB, and it is just beautiful. Look at it go. It spins around, goes into the planet, and it is just glorious. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. It's very fitting to Kerbal Space Program, I think, in my opinion, and will slowly but surely drill ore until it can, you know, hold it into these containers. Oh, and actually a feature of these containers when you're out in the world, you can actually drop your load, because of course the ore is going to take up a lot of weight inside of this, so if you need to just launch your ship quickly, you can drop all your ore if you need. But yes, the drill is very cool, and how I mentioned earlier you convert it from ore into useful things is this ISRU converter, and this baby is just beautiful, very nicely detailed part here, and it turns your ore into either liquid fuel, oxidizer, or monopropellant, using, of course, electricity and ore to do so. Very cool. I absolutely love this thing. Very nice new mechanic, and, you know, something I've wished the game had stock for a while. I mean, the mods for this sort of thing were cool, but I like it being stock. Then, well, uses for your liquid fuel and oxidizer have also expanded in that we have these new fuel cells, which add into the game additional ways of creating power. You know, we've got the solar panels that are, you know, the same as always. We've got the little radioisotope thermonuclear generator, very cool, that have been around for ages, but now we have a new way of making electricity in fuel cells. And if we zoom in here, the smaller fuel cell generator here, just a small little thing, very nice, very easy to conceal someplace. It will take in 6.8 liquid fuel and 7.42 oxidizer per hour and create 1.5 electrical charge per second. Very nice. It is also a battery itself. It has 50 electrical charge that it can store. So a pretty good little generator. Not the greatest, but it does sip fuel very, very slowly, so it can keep going for a while. Now, on the other hand, we have the fuel cell array. Oh boy, look at that baby. It is just massive, and this, oh, it just gulps down fuel. It uses it at a rate of 0.02 liquid fuel and oxidizer per second. And per second, it then creates 18 electrical charge. So this thing will just chug down fuel, but it will create a lot of power for you. And in the meantime, it will also store 300 electrical charge. So a very, very nice piece of equipment. I do like their addition. A very cool thing. We then also do have a large number of new landing gears for airplanes. I mean, we can kind of take a look at it here. We've got let's zoom out a bit. A fixed landing gear. Let's just pop that thing up on the side. Looks like the landing gear you'd see on like a Cessna. Very cool little thing. We have a steerable landing gear, something maybe you'd see on like a Piper or something along those lines. Twin engine plane, very cool. Then our old standard landing gear, medium landing gear, and large landing gear. Holy crap, look at the size of that thing. We'll actually look at a plane with this, and it's glorious. Oh my god, these are really cool new landing gear. I love it. Then also dealing with interiors like we had with the command pods earlier, the Mark III passenger module has seen an update to the interior. Actually, Mark III is new, isn't it? Oh god. So many parts in the game and so many mods I deal with, I tend to forget what are and are not stock parts. But yes, either way, very cool interior to this thing. Holds a lot of Kerbals and is just gorgeous on the inside. We then have, no, the Hitchhiker still has its old its old interior, but we have some new service bays here, which are very cool. They come in 1.25 and 2.5 meter varieties, and what these service bays are basically bays for you to hold different equipment, scientific instruments, etc., to protect them from the new heat mechanic. Because, of course, if you just have them strapped to the side of your craft, if you enter the atmosphere of a planet, they might get destroyed by the new heat mechanic. So you can pop them into these service bays, and they'll be nice and protected from all of that horrible, horrible heat. And yeah, very cool. I like the addition of them, and as you all know, I'm a sucker for a good animation, and I just love the opening and closing animation of these service bays. Very cool indeed. I love it. And moving on finally to the science tab, we have a couple of new things in here. Let's just move those away. First is a new science experiment. It is a atmospheric fluid spectrovariometer, which is just another nice bit of scientific equipment. We then have a narrowband scanner, which works in with the new ore system. Very important for finding ores and making sure you place your drills on the surface in the best locations. We also have the M700 survey scanner, which is also used in the new ore mining system. And this baby, oh boy, look at that opening. It's just beautiful. This shows you where the ores are, then this shows you a more finer, detailed look at where they are. Very cool. And then, of course, once you do land your drill rig on a planet, you need to be able to scan on the surface as well, so we have the surface scanning module here. Very cool, very useful, will help you find ores, max altitude of 1,000 meters. Very fun, very cool indeed, and we're going to go over, in a bit more detail, the new ore mechanic by launching this crappy orbital surveyor satellite that I built earlier. This thing, oh, I threw it together within like a minute, but it works perfectly fine for finding the ores in space. So let us put it up there using the wonderfully cheaty method of hyper-edit. So of course, first we have to launch it, then open hyper-edit. Let's put it at, yeah, 100,000 should be fine. We'll apply. And there we go, we are in orbit. Now the first thing, when you go to a new planet, or of course if you're here on Kerbin and you want to find ores, you have to know where they are. Now, granted, they'll be pretty much anywhere that there's land, but in much smaller quantities. You want to look for where they'll have a higher concentration. And to find those higher concentrations, you first need to put a satellite in orbit with this M700 survey scanner and perform an orbital survey. But here's the thing. I almost forgot about this. We must have this, oh, let me click that again. We must have this satellite in a stable polar orbit between 60 to 1,500 kilometers. So, since I did use hyper-edit to get this thing into space, we have an orbit that is equatorial rather than polar, but we can of course change that through the power of inclination. There we go. Alright, that puts us into a nice polar-ish orbit, a little bit more. There we are, a beautiful polar orbit if I've ever seen one. And, oh yeah, you gotta love HyperEdit. It is wonderful for setting up videos. Now we can perform this scan, and it has to transmit this data back to Kerbin, which is why I've got the nice big antenna, so it worked very quickly there. And now we know where the ore is. You'll see on the screen we've got these purple lines, and if we go back to map view, we get a much better view, and you can see these darker areas where there's a lot higher concentration of minerals than in the darker purple areas. And this is just so cool. I love this new mechanic. Very, very reminiscent to things like with Kethane, the orbital scans you had to do for that. But now, again, built in stock. And if we click on this, we can change the color of the monochrome, cutoff values, toggle the overlay on and off. And right now, it'll show you the ore average is 3.75%, so that is good to know. But with this ore overlay on, we can then go to the narrow band scanner, and what this thing does as it spins around, it'll show you the latitude and longitude of our current position and the ore surface average of where we're currently going over. And what we can do to get a really, really fine view of the ore is turn on this scanner GUI. And now we can see the planet directly below us, but it's not live, it is pictures. So we have to hit refresh, and it will change every time we hit it to what is directly below us. But while it's in this snapshot, we can move around, and you can see the target location is changing, and so is the abundance of ore here. Now, it's not actually changing much here because we're over kind of a crappy area, but you can see it shows us the biomes, where the map's center location is, so that center point. Then you can use your mouse to find the exact coordinates around that location to get your ships as close as possible. You will now have a lot more knowledge about where to send your crafts, and I absolutely love this, especially that it does it in images. I don't know why I like that more than live feed, but it seems more realistic to me. You know, you'd get an image of, here's all the crap. Okay, let's go and do things with that. Very cool. And of course, you know, if we did go over, oh, actually, yes, here we have a brighter purple spot, so that is 6.96 abundance of ore, but just over here is 3.625. Now let's see, we are in a different area. 6.965, 3.63, very cool. And yeah, I love this. We can change the color if you don't like the purple. I actually kind of like this green and red because it, you know, shows you a much better. Ooh, oh, there's a good vein. Look at that. Let's track it by continuously hitting refresh. Oh, that's that mountain range there. There is some good ore in them there hills. Very cool. I like it. I love it so much. And yeah, it makes me happy. As a geophysicist in real life, things like this make me happy. It kind of reminds me of like the electromagnetic plots that I look at work. Very cool. I have a lot of fun with this. It is a very, very fun new mechanic. And now let's revert, well, not actually revert flight, go back to the Space Center and play around with the actual ore mining. Now we're just going to drop right on top of the launch pad here. Where did I put it? What did I call it? Oh God. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, there it is, Ore Tower. And this is just a quick little thing I threw together that is a basic mining rig to show off how all this works. Now, we don't have a whole lot of ore here, and we can see that by turning on the surface scanner. And we see that we have 9.16% average ore here. We have our biome, which is cool. We're on shores, our latitude and longitude. I love all this new information we're getting. Very cool. But yeah, not a whole lot of ore here, but still, we can turn on the drill, and it will deploy right into the launch pad. Ah, look at it go. Excellent. And once it's deployed, status moving, oh, there we go. We can turn on the harvester, and you will get heating levels on this, so you gotta watch that. You don't want it to get too hot. But there we go. We are extracting ore at 0.01595 per second. And you can see our ore tank is slowly but surely filling up. And as I told you earlier, we can jettison the contents if we so desire. Now, as we're making this, I wanted to show off the ISRU converter. While that's grabbing ore, we could make liquid fuel and oxidizer monopropellant, just liquid fuel, and just oxidizer. It's all very cool. So I drained all the monopropellant from this thing. And let's actually, I wanted to show off one more thing. You'll notice we don't have a whole lot of power in here. All the electrical power from there is drained, and we're slowly but surely draining the electrical power from here. I put on these lovely new fuel cells. But problem is, my liquid fuel and oxidizer is all gone, because of course we had to land someplace, we used fuel, and we need to use power to run this drill, and also to create liquid fuel and oxidizer from here. So a little balancing act, let's create liquid fuel and oxidizer. It is creating it. If we go down here, we can see it filling up the tanks, slowly but surely, and draining a whole lot of power very quickly. But, of course, we can turn on this fuel cell, and it is starting to create power and trying to keep up with the demand, but sadly, well, it has slowed down the usage noticeably, and is using, since this is the smaller fuel cell, it's just sipping that fuel, but it's not enough to keep up with demand. So let's turn that off and go to the big boy right over here. There we go. Ah, look at it. It's already filling its battery. That is still... Oh, no, it's going up. That is recharging this thing as we're drilling and creating liquid fuel and oxidizer. And it's actually pretty much keeping pace. It is losing, but with this drill, creating liquid fuel and oxidizer, the fuel cell is using just a tad bit more than we're producing right now. That's actually a pretty good balance there. I'm actually pretty pleased with that. That is impressive. And it is creating a crap load of electrical charge. Very cool, to the point that it is actually recharging these batteries as it's doing all this work. And yeah, that's the new ore system. Very fun, very cool, and holy crap, we are running much later than I expected. So let's head back to the Space Center. I want to just show off one more thing before we leave. And that is going to be that crappy little drop pod I made. Let's clear that. Yes, Jebediah had fun, lovely. And use the drop pod to have a gander at those fun new air brakes. I also wanted to show off the new flying mechanics, but we're already almost to a half hour, and I don't want this to go on for quite that long. So, orbit editor, let's select active vessel. I'm gonna put this, actually no, not orbit editor. Let's use the lander function. You gotta love hyperedit. Set to our current location, so we should just drop right on top of the Kerbal Space Center and set ourselves to 60,000 altitude. Go to landing. Excellent, there we are. Turn off landing, and we should start to free fall. Yes, we are picking up speed. Now, so, again, you gotta love hyperedit for setting things up. Very fun. So let's put ourselves to 2x time warp just to speed things along. We are gaining a crap load of speed because, well, we are dropping from 60,000 meters up in the air directly on top of the Kerbal Space Center. And yeah, well, we're gonna have to slow down at some point. Now, I'm gonna wait until we actually hit atmosphere because, of course, they're air brakes. You kind of need atmosphere for them to be useful in any way, shape, or form. We are, oh god, no, don't roll. I want you to be at the retrograde. There we go, pointing basically straight downwards towards our location. Excellent. We are up to 600, 700. I want to wait till 800. Let's wait for it. Wait for it. Almost. Get ready. And I actually should probably deploy these now. Oh boy, look at that shaking. We had a lot of fun shaking. But we went from nearly 800 meters per second to now 140 meters per second thanks to these air brakes. And that is just gorgeous. And we're still slowing. So imagine these instead of, you know, the, oh god, what's the term for it? Drudge chutes. So use these for slowing down instead to create these glorious drop pods. And I actually want to sort of hold off till the very last second to release the parachute, as I'm intrigued how slow this thing will get us before we come crashing down to the surface. Okay. Oh yes, it is set to this, so it should auto-deploy at about 500 feet, shouldn't it? Or, oh god, I don't remember how that system works, but we are, oh, we're getting close. We're getting very close. And, oh god, I need to deploy the chute. There we go. We got down to a very, very slow speed. It wouldn't have been survivable for this craft, but it slowed us down so much that we probably could have used a much smaller parachute on this. And, well, with the air brakes plus parachute, we're getting a nice, good slowdown. And there we go, safely back at the Kerbal Space Center with the glorious, glorious air brakes. I am just in love with this update. It is just so much fun. All the cool new parts. I love these pieces. They're just so cool. The new ore system, the new heating mechanics, the new flight, or not flight, but aerodynamics. We've got female Kerbals now. We've got new interiors, which, oh, holy crap, no, I wanted to look at those too before we left. Oh, the video's past a half hour. We are at 30 minutes, folks. Okay, so real quick, we'll take a look at these parts. So, let's look at the interior for the Mark 1 cockpit. The, nice little shuttle cockpit. Oh boy, okay, which ones? The Mark III passenger container, and also the Science Bay, I believe, also got an interior. There we go, let's put one person in each. Crap, I need more crew. Okay, let's exit that. There we go. Put one of you in the, well, we'll put like two of you in the passenger container. One of you in there, and one of you in the processing lab. There we go. We'll go to launch and take a look at these new gorgeous interiors. It's so much fun. Just all the new things added to the game are just glorious. So we've got good old Val, our lovely new orange jumpsuited female Kerbal. Let's go to her internal view, and this is the new inline cockpit. Very nice. I do like the look of it. I just don't like the exterior. Interior, though, is gorgeous. I love the HUD there. Very nice little addition. Let's go to the next Kerbal. It's Carrie Kerbin, another female one. She is inside the shuttle. Gorgeous shuttle. Oh, look at this. That is just beautiful interior in here. And actually, let's go to the next Kerbal, who is in the passenger container. It's basically an airliner. I like it. Look at that. It's gorgeous. We've just got these lovely seats. All we need is someone going down the center with a snacks cart, and it'd be perfect. Oh my god, I didn't notice this. We even have the row and aisles things. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. And fasten seatbelts, everyone. Don't forget to do so. And, oh, nope, still the same one. And now the science container, or the science lab here. Don't press red button. Pick up Jeb. Good things to remember. Good things to remember. I love all the detail in here. We've got, you know, all the cool little containers. We have some science equipment over there. Post-it notes all over the place. More servos, parts, biostorage. I love the multi-levels. We've even got the oxygen and water stuff going through there. Oh, hopefully one day we could move through these in first person. That'd be glorious. But for now, we can just see the internal views, and they are beautiful. I absolutely love this new update. I hope you are all enjoying it as well. There's so much more to go over, but I'd need like dozens of these episodes to do that. It's so great, so cool. If you play this game already, definitely get the update if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, what the hell is wrong with you? Go download it now. But, yes, if you don't have it, get the game, you fool. It's wonderful fun. And, yes, I hope you have enjoyed this episode today, and, of course, that you come back for the next. But until then, thank you for watching, my friends, and as always, have a good one. Now, I'm gonna go mine things someplace. I don't know where yet, but where the ore is strong, it will be good. Later, folks.